Hello everyone, my name is Brendan. I'm here with a group called Queers for Palestine, Winnipeg. I want to thank the Canadian Palestinian Association of Manitoba for bringing us together and back into the streets on Treaty 1 territory again for another week. The masses of people in Canada, around the world, have been pouring into the streets week by week. The sight of Israel's vicious assault on Gaza, the escalation of settler violence in the occupied West Bank, and a genocide unfolding in plain view of the world has galvanized humanity into action. Protests fill the street every week from Canada to Belgium to Pakistan to South Africa and beyond. In Canada, people are refusing to be complicit in this genocide. Yet shamefully, the Canadian government has refused to listen to the popular call for a ceasefire. Prime Minister Trudeau would rather have his constituents arrested in Montreal than meet with them or call for a ceasefire. What's more, many of the largest corporations operating in Canada profit from Israeli apartheid and genocide. Weapons manufacturers like Boeing turned genocide into a business opportunity. Scotiabank has invested $500 million in Elbit Systems, Israel's largest military and arms company. The Bank of Montreal also bankrolls Elbit Systems with loans of up to $90 million. RBC, one of the major funders of the Coastal GasLink pipeline being built through an invasion of unceded Wet'suwet'en land in so-called British Columbia, also invested $56 million in Palantir, which provides mass surveillance technology to Israeli security forces. The list of genocide profiteers goes on. It's clear that for Canada's ruling class and governments, profits in solidarity with other settler colonial states like the United States and Israel trump any pretenses of democracy and human rights. Canada and its allies lecture countries around the world about a rules-based international order, but this genocide makes clear that this rules-based order only applies to official enemies, not allies like Israel. It's a system where the US and its allies make the rules and give the orders. It's a self-serving lie, and it has been no source of protection for the Palestinians. Shame! Yet people across Canada are refusing to be complicit. We are in the streets demanding a ceasefire. We are in MPs' offices demanding a ceasefire. We are refusing to let Canada's war profiteers go on with business as usual. Workers are refusing to allow their labor to arm genocide. We will keep the pressure on our governments until they demand a ceasefire and stop supporting Israel's genocidal occupation and work towards justice in Palestine. Now, queer communities are often told that we should not support Palestine, that our interests lie with the oppressor, with the occupier. Over the last several decades especially, Israel and its supporters have deployed racist, colonial tropes portraying Palestinian and Muslims as intolerant and violent, all in an effort to pinkwash apartheid and undermine support for the Palestinian freedom movement. But we refuse this weaponization of our identity. We condemn those elements in our own communities that would betray the legacy of queer struggle by staying silent in the face of injustice and supporting the oppressor. It is Israeli bombs that are crushing the dreams and futures of queer Palestinians like all Palestinians. Queer and trans people must stand against genocide and occupation everywhere, from Canada to Palestine. While Israel uses its pinkwashing propaganda to justify genocide, queer people everywhere have a responsibility to say loudly and uncompromisingly, "Not in our name." We're here to say that from the prairies to Palestine, there is no pride in genocide. And this is the strength of this movement. The cause of Palestinian freedom resonates with communities and peoples from all backgrounds around the world. It unites people from all walks of life. In this crowd, as in crowds around the world, we see youth, we see elders, we see people from different neighborhoods in our city, we see queer communities, we see diaspora communities from around the world, we see people from all different faith backgrounds, all coming together in support of a free Palestine. The world majority stands with Palestine.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
stands with Palestine, and Israel and its supporters know this. They see the power of the Palestinian freedom movement. They see the power of crowds like this uniting around support for Palestinian freedom, and they know that they cannot hide the genocidal nature of their occupation any longer. This is why Israel and its supporters turn to tactics of intimidation, harassment, and repression of Palestinians and even their supporters. They threaten people's jobs, they threaten people's livelihoods, they threaten Palestinian businesses, and they even threaten the physical safety of people. In Calgary, a Palestinian protest organizer was arrested for leading a chant calling for Palestinian freedom. These threats are a sign of their weakness and of their cowardice, not a sign of strength. It is a reaction to the growing strength and the growing power of the movement for Palestinian freedom the world over. Still, these threats are serious. If they're allowed to, they can undermine the movement. They can intimidate us into not speaking out. They can intimidate us into silence. But silence is complicity. We supporters of the Palestinian liberation movement cannot allow these threats to undermine us. Now is the time to lead not with fear, but with courage and integrity, in standing strongly and loudly with Palestine and the Palestinian community in Winnipeg. We cannot leave the Palestinian community alone in the face of these attacks. When queer communities are targeted with repression, intimidation, and harassment, we join together in saying that when we're under attack, we stand up, fight back. So I want to hear from everybody here. When Palestine is under attack, what do we do? When supporters of Palestinian freedom are under attack, what do we do? When Muslim communities are under attack, what do we do? When the Palestinian community here at home is under attack, what do we do? We will never abandon Palestine. We will never abandon the Palestinian community at home. We will be in the streets until our government calls for a ceasefire, ceases all support for Israel's genocidal occupation, and works to support Palestinian freedom. Feel the power of being united here today. When we stand together, we are more powerful than any threats, lies, or slander that they can muster. Together, we must continue to apply pressure to our government to call for a ceasefire, and together we must keep each other safe. We are on the right side of history. We are stronger together. United we stand, divided we beg. An injury to one is an injury to all. No one is free until we are all free. Free Palestine!